and welcome to the Fun Stampers Journey video studio. I'm Kim Kesti, Creative Director at Fun Stampers Journey, and I'm super excited to be here with you today to walk you through all the fun tips and techniques in the June Bloom Box, which is called Set Sail. This month's Bloom Box is called Set Sail, and it's all about all things summer. We've got some amazing water techniques to share with you, all kinds of fun things, but you guys want to see it? If you're a subscriber, you may already have your Bloom Box, which is awesome, and if you're not, you should be getting it any day, but let's take a look at this month's Bloom Box. Here's the Bloom Box that arrives on your doorstep, as adorable as ever. And inside, of course, you're going to get the full color brochure, which is going to walk through a lot of these tips and techniques I'm going to share with you now. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can go right here, or you can stick with me for the video, and I'm going to walk you through some of those fun tips and techniques. And of course, the full-size, deeply etched red rubber stamp called Set Sail. This is a stamp set that is loaded with images. Check it out, guys. So 17 images on this stamp set. Great value. You're going to just love it. Have so much fun creating with it. And of course, all your card kits come in your box, all kitted and ready to go. I'm going to take the first one out right now, and we're going to get started. Let's do it. Like I said, there are so many fun tips and techniques in this, and I'm going to share even some extra bonus things that aren't in the booklet. So I want you to have fun with this kit and really get in there and experiment with some different things. So let's go for it. This first card kit is really fun. It doesn't show as well in the photo, I don't think, but one of your pieces comes pre-embossed. Isn't that fun? So this is our corrugated board embossing folder, so you can see the embossing right there. So fun that if you fall in love with this folder, that's definitely something you can pick up from our catalog, but it comes pre-embossed in your kit, of course, because we want to make it easy peasy for you. And then of course you can see the color palette already. It's just got that awesome watercolor look. So let's grab our first stamp. Let's do the little ship. This is the one stamp set that you're going to want to color a little bit, so I'm just going to stamp it out for you because I can't resist. It's so darn cute. But I'm not going to color the whole entire thing for this video. I know you guys can handle that. You're amazing colorers. And look how cute. I just can't resist. That little boat is so darling. So you're going to want to go ahead and use your color burst pencils, or you can even use the watercolor pencils if you have those too. Those are called our color splash pencils. So you're going to want to just add some cute little details to the boat. We did the little portholes blue, and then you know it, we added a little dash of Journey Glaze right to each of the little portholes on there. I thought that was really a cute addition. Let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment out too, because this is a really cute one. I shouldn't say it's cute because it's actually more inspirational and special than it is cute, but you guys know what I mean, right? So my stamp set is not indexed yet because we are still waiting for the stamp sets to arrive, so that's exactly why I test it out on my grid paper. Make sure I'm stamping it the right side up, right guys? Okay, so when you stamp the sentiment, you want to just go right in the center of the oval. Crisp and clear, that's what we love about our red rubber. So pretty, right? Love that sentiment. Life's roughest storms prove the strength of our anchors. Isn't that true? I love that. Okay, so you can cut this out. You can fussy cut it, of course, with your little detail shears. Or if you were one of the lucky ones who went ahead and ordered the die cut, those will be shipping out on June 1st. So you can order the matching die set for this Bloom Box, but you don't have to have the die set. If you don't have it, that's totally fine. You could just grab your little cute little detail shears and trim away. Let me show you the finished card, because this one really doesn't have a whole lot of really fancy techniques for the rest of it, but I do want to show you the real card in real life, I guess we'll say. So the little wave was cut out on Turbo Teal and then accented with a little Journey Glaze. I'll kind of tip it so you can see that. Isn't that sweet? You can see how we chose to color a boat. Of course, you can choose to color it any way you want. One thing I didn't show was stamping the bottle. I think you guys can do that. But we gave you this extra little piece of oatmeal cookie, and that's so you can stamp the little cork, right? So you just stamp that portion of the bottle. I'll do it for you just for funsies. See, I'm only inking up the top of the bottle. You don't have to stamp the entire thing. You just want to kind of get that little cork. Move it over here. So really all you're doing is just stamping that little cork, and then you're going to trim around it, and then see how we've added it to the top of our bottle, right? So cute! I love that. Okay, so that's card number 1. Really simple, easy peasy. You're going to add a little bit of silk to it just for that finishing touch, and adorable. So cute. All right, I'm going to set that one aside. This next card is a little more technique-y, so let me grab the card kit out. It's got a couple fun little things. And then card number 3 is where we really get crazy with the techniques. So this one I'll kind of breeze through fairly quickly also. This is one of the fun ones we're going to do a background technique on. So you've got one bigger white whipped cream panel, and then you've got all these other little fun circles and doodads. You want to set those aside for a minute. This panel is what we're going to do first. Now there's several ways that you can do water effects in the background. I'm going to show you the very simplest way, and it is the way we outlined in the kit booklet. So feel free to do it exactly that same way, but I'm also going to show you another way to do it. So kind of keep that in mind. Maybe you can shake it up a little bit. So the first one is very, very simple. It's just taking your Cool Pool ink. This is what we call direct to paper. So you take your ink pad and you're going to apply it right to this panel. So on our card, we just did it in a straight motion. So you're just going to drag that ink pad straight across. I like to kind of leave a little gap, maybe to leave a little water showing right there, and just drag it back again. So see how pretty and simple? Just really just gives you, just kind of a watery look. I'm going to grab an extra piece that I already trimmed out. This is just a scrap piece I had, and show you another way you can do it. This is a technique that we showed in our Bloom Box a little while ago. So it's using that same ink pad, Cool Pool, and this time instead of dragging straight across, you can kind of go at a little bit of an angle. So again, this is a technique we showed on the Bloom Box, gosh, maybe at least a year ago. So for those of you who are new subscribers, you may not have seen this before. We can even mix it up with another color ink. I'm going to grab Turbo Teal, which is one we also use later in your kit, and just do a second wave. So you can do a second wave of another color ink, right? So super fun, super easy. That might be something you want to try at home, experiment with, whether it's on this card kit or a separate one, but fun. But let's go back to the original card. The rest of this card, putting it together, is just really pretty easy. I'm going to show you one more little tip on it, and then I know you guys have got it. So we're going to layer it up. Of course, we've got a card base here. We're going to layer this up with a little red map. Now the other kind of fun technique is using these two circles. So one of the very, very classic ways that we treat paper is tearing it. You guys, tearing used to be kind of like a big deal back in the day when I first started paper crafting, but tearing the paper is kind of experiencing a little resurgence. We see it a little bit more often. It adds that kind of little shabby chic look to your card. So that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to leave this one whole because this is kind of our sky. In fact, you can take one of the itty bitty bird stamps. I'm telling you guys, there's so many stamps on here. See the two little birds? I'll get those out so we can stamp them. Put them on our little baby block. So these guys we're going to stamp in the sky. I'm just going to take a little Turbo Teal ink and do that real quick. So this circle is our sky. Again, kind of testing it on my grid paper. And then these guys are going right up in the sky. So cute. And then the Turbo Teal becomes our water. So this is the one where you just kind of want to rip it approximately in half. And you notice that as you're ripping, the top part is what I'm taking away. That's what I'm pulling toward myself. It's going to leave some of this grain staying there, and that's what I want. I kind of want that ripped edge. So grab the paper and pull it toward yourself. So see that ripped edge? You don't have the ripped edge on this piece, see? So I want that ripped edge there. Maybe I'll go down a little bit and pull it. So see, you still have that fun ripped edge. Now you could add a little bit more ink to this piece. I'm not going to because we didn't do that in our kit, but that's another option. Add a little bit more ink to make that even inkier. So all you're going to do then is just put a little bit of tape runner or white liner, whatever you like to use. And then this becomes our ocean. Oops, I'm gonna have to tear it a little bit more so my bird doesn't get covered up. There, got an even bigger wave now. And then you just glue that right on top. So see right away you've got that instant kind of ocean scene coming to life, right? And so you want to use these extra pieces, one to stamp your sentiment and one to stamp your little boat. I won't walk you through that because that's pretty simple. Let me show you the finished card to show you how we colored it, because we added a little bit more coloring to this one too. Look how sweet. This again is the Color Burst pencils, but you can use whatever color medium you have. Oh, and the little fish. I forgot to stamp the tiny fish on the bottom of the ocean, but you guys can see those, right? So again, a little color. There's our fun background. All these little trim pieces and sequins are of course included in your kit. And this one we added a little bit of splash from our silk, from our Cool Pool silk. So that adds a couple little more kind of sparkly, watery effects there. So right? So cute, the set sail card. Love that one. That sentiment is very sweet too. So super easy, card number 2. Awesome. We're just flying right along. Now, like I said, card number 3 has a little bit more of a technique, but nothing fancy. I think you guys probably have noticed by now that this card kit for June is not full of super complicated techniques. We try to do some bloom boxes that are a little bit more simpler, a little bit more geared to somebody maybe who hasn't done a lot of stamping, but still can teach you some fun new techniques. And that's what June Bloom Box is all about. We've already concepted July, it's already in the can, and that has probably a little more impressive techniques, or a little bit more complicated, I should say, will be coming up in the July Bloom Box, so super fun. All right, card number 3, very quickly. Most of it, again, is kind of self-explanatory. You've got your card base. This card panel, which again is an embossed panel for you. You can use either side. One is kind of a deboss, that's this side, or you can use the emboss side. And again, this is that same paper tearing technique. You're gonna take your panel and just tear it right across the top. So super fun. You might even have to tear it a little bit lower, but that's that same technique. And this time, the only really tricky thing that I want to share with you is a tip for stamping on vellum, because I know it can be a little tricky, especially if you don't let it dry long enough. So I have 2 tips for stamping on vellum. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of our electric tape. You can use any nonstick tape or any removable tape. And I'm just gonna, actually I'll kind of square it up a little bit. I'm gonna tape the vellum down just a little bit. You can use washi tape, you know, anything that you have handy. This is gonna help give me better performance when I stamp my message in a bottle. So I'm gonna stamp the bottle on the vellum. And again, this has a lot of rubber in the middle, so when you ink the stamp, just kind of go around the edge, because what you're going to not want to do is get a ton of ink in the middle. So I like to ink it just kind of going all around the edge of the bottle. If you get a tiny smudge in the middle, that's okay, but this is kind of a tip for getting that nice inked edge. And again, because my vellum is down, when this True Fusion ink meets the vellum, it can get a tiny bit sticky. So I like to stamp, you know, get it down, and it really matters when you lift your stamp. So I'm going to go straight down. Just pause for just a minute, let that ink kind of soak in there, and then I'm going to lift straight up. So I've got a good impression there. The biggest thing you want to do right now is not to touch this stamped image. So you're going to want to let it dry for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and lift it up and set it aside just so it can dry. This you want to let it dry for probably maybe a good 15-20 minutes, or you can take our Journey heat gun, which I have right here, and I'm not going to plug it in so I don't have to blast you guys out, blast your eardrums out drying it, but you could accelerate the drying just by plugging in the heat gun and drying that vellum a little bit. That'll speed up the ink drying. Make sense? Awesome. Set that aside. And then the other fun technique is doing the watery background with a little bit more pizzazz than the other one, a little bit more depth to it. And this is how you're going to do that. You're going to grab one of your larger blocks, and this time I'm going to put a whole bunch of these images together on one block. So I'm going to do the little fishy, and you can do these in any order you want. I'm gonna do the little anchor, cute little kelp. Probably get the coral in here, the little fishy. So cute. Maybe I'll put that down a little bit. So when you arrange them like this on a block together, it's gonna make stamping your background piece, which is what we're going to do, a lot quicker and easier. You're still gonna stamp it multiple times, but at least this is gonna be quicker for you. So go ahead and ink that guy up. I'm gonna do a little test one. See if I like the placement. Cute, I do. And then go ahead and stamp your whole background. So you can start to stamp where you're off the edge of the paper. Do you see how my stamps are bleeding off the edge? That's totally fine. And then just go ahead and ink it up again. And then you just want to do this multiple times. So stamp away. If you do have little gaps somewhere that you're not super happy about, you can go and fill them in. Fun. And you can twist and turn it a little bit too, like your octopus can be going different directions, of course. Isn't that fun? So what a quick way to do a background that looks really complicated, but really isn't. Pretty easy, guys. I'll do them tilted this way a little bit. So there. That really is all for that background piece. And when you layer it with your little bottle, this guy's still not dry, so I'm not gonna touch it, but you're gonna go ahead and trim your bottle out and layer it up with this. And you're gonna stamp your cute whale. He's so darling. I'm gonna stamp him just for fun, because I love him. I love that this guy's got such character. He really doesn't need any coloring. We did color him on our last card a little bit, but he is so fun, just black and white. Love it. Powie. Okay, so let me show you the finished card. And there we go. So there's the bottle trimmed out, just fussy cut. Or if you are getting the matching die, of course you can use the die. We do have another wave back here, but it's just very simple. And there's our darling stamped background. So fun. Isn't that cute? I can just imagine it done in a variety of color palettes. We do have the little pop of yellow in there because it's kind of a nautical feeling, I feel like. But definitely this would be darling in any different color variety. Love it. Okay, should we do the last card real quick? You guys are doing awesome. Grab the last card kit out. This guy is really fun, and the only extra tip I wanted to share with you, he's kind of basically a little bit of a repeat of that technique I just shared, but this time we're going to combine both methods together. So I'm going to try to lift this vellum, see how well we have it adhered. A lot of times we adhere this with just a dot of glue in the corner. Yeah, let's see if I can pop it off. So can you guys get a better view of the background? So you can see when I talk about combining the two techniques, first we're going to go ahead and wipe the ink on the background, and then we're going to take that same stamp and stamp it on top. And then it's also got a little bit of silk on it. So I kind of want to show you the sneak peek under there. I'm going to have to put a dot of glue back there, but so this panel is super easy. I'm just going to grab one of my extra ones to share. So again, dragging that ink straight across, or it could be a little wavy, it could be anything you want. And then grabbing that same block that we had with all the extra little pieces for the stamp set. This time I'm doing it in turbo teal. So it's gonna pop a little bit more than I did last time it was cool pool. So now again, same idea, just layering it all up. See how it really does have a fun, different look? It's also a little bit busy, so that's why we chose to go ahead and layer this finished panel with vellum. So again, I'll bring the finished card back again. So it doesn't become too busy and take away from our focal point, which is really the cute little whale. Here's the whale where we did a tiny bit of the colored pencil on it. Let's see if Roy can zoom in there. Awesome. So again, doesn't need a lot of coloring, just a few little blue accents on there. And he is good to go. So fun, right? June Bloom Box is amazing, and I know you're gonna love every little bit of it. Hopefully you learned a few different little tips and techniques to complete the Bloom Box. And these cards will be perfect to send to your family, your friends, your loved ones, anybody throughout the summer. I know that you'll just love it. Thanks for catching me on today's video for the June Bloom Box, and we'll see you next time.